Welcome to the Pilot Talk podcast with Stein Mjotvedt and Michelle Treskin. We are commercial pilots and flight instructors with a passion for aviation and the aviation industry. And we are making this podcast to inspire, educate, and entertain you, our listeners who either share our passion for aviation or simply want to get a peek behind the cockpit door. In this podcast, we're going to be discussing flying, flight training, career advice for pilots, and pretty much any interesting topics from the exciting world of aviation. So tune in.
You are listening to Pilot Talk by OSM Aviation.
All right. So this is an important episode we're doing here.
Yeah, this one is all about the listeners today.
That's right. That's right. It's all a mismatch of, we always ask the listeners what they think and any feedback and all that. So we're going to go through the list.
Yeah.
We got a whole list.
A bunch of really, really good questions were sent to us through our Instagram page, the Pilot Talk podcast.
That's right, yeah.
And just like you said, let's just get crunching. This episode will be trying to answer all those questions.
That's right, yeah. We'll go through the whole list. Some of it will be already answered in past episodes, but we're going to refer to them anyways. And
do a short recap.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Pilot Talk with Stein Mjotvedt and Michelle Treskin.
Okay, Michelle, so how do you want to do this? I read the question and you answer and then we switch?
Yeah, we could do that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah?
It's like a tango.
It's like a tango.
It's like a tango. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so the headline for these questions is becoming a pilot. Yeah, I'll do the first one there.
Roger that.
So we've got a question from our listeners that sounds like this. What are important points to be understood before becoming a pilot?
Wow. Yes, that's right. And we did touch some of that on the episode. Which episode was that again?
Episode 2 is
Number
called
2, right.
Is Becoming a Pilot Right for You? I think that,
There should be some answers in there.
There should be some answers in there. And then I think just to highlight the most common misunderstandings, I think it's still a little bit of a myth around the aviation industry that it's very glamorous and you get to travel the world and see many cool places. And that's true, but it's also important to remember that it means early mornings, getting up very early.
That's right.
Sometimes as early as 3:00 in the night or 4:00 or 4:30.
Exactly. Could be any time.
Exactly. To do the morning flights, right?
Right. Exactly.
And then, it's important to remember that too. It's a job that, get up early in the morning and
it's almost like a shift. You're on shift all the time.
Yeah, sometimes you're working early, sometimes you're working late.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that in mind, to know yourself and well enough to consider if that's a suitable lifestyle for you.
That's right. I think that we encourage definitely to research or speak to someone who's in the business, approach a flight school, do your research, and don't be shy. I mean, we are approachable pilots, and we are always glad to promote our profession.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And then if we want to dive into that even more, listen to episode 2. It's Becoming a Pilot Right for You.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty.
Perfect. Next one would be how students in senior high school can prepare for the flight school.
That's a really good question. And I think here it's all about the subjects. I think it's important to read math, physics, and English.
Yeah, those are the 3 ones, right? The 3 key ones.
Because all the literature is written in English, and you need to have a solid understanding of math and physics to keep building on that. And I know that there are some schools that say it doesn't matter, but it really does.
It does, yeah.
And it makes the education much easier to go through because it's challenging enough already. But if you have that foundation, it helps a lot.
True.
And, most serious flight schools have that as a pre-entry requirement as well.
Exactly. And I've been doing a lot of interviews for some certain aviation company. And the minimum is definitely high school diploma. So if you don't have a high school diploma, it's going to be you can get a license. It's not a problem getting a flight license, and there's no problem getting an airline license as well. But a lot of companies right now are looking for the minimum is a high school diploma.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, hustle hard in high school. Get
That's right.
good grades.
Go to school.
Put the work in. Go to school.
Exactly.
I think also if we look at the extracurricular stuff or outside of the classroom, if you can get involved with a flying club or flying gliders or something like that on the side as a hobby to get a taste for it, to start working on your muscle memory and your coordination. And
Exactly.
that's also really
Very
beneficial.
important. Yeah.
It's not necessary, but it's beneficial.
Yeah. What about computer games?
Oh, yeah, we spoke about that on episode 2. I think certain games can be really beneficial. I know that the flight simulator games have become super
That's a good
sophisticated.
one. Yeah, exactly. And these visual goggles.
Yeah, VR, virtual
VRs.
reality.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I tried one of those where they have all the military jets.
Oh, yeah.
Even the older ones, so the Mustang and the newer ones, the Harrier, all these different. And you have these VR goggles on. You can flip all the switches, and it really
Really? So
works.
so very realistic.
very realistic.
Oh, I'd love to try that.
So it's really cool, especially if if you're already a pilot, to see how much work they put into it. I think one of the risks with flying a lot of simulator is some negative transfer, though.
Right. Yeah.
So, just be aware of that. If you're teaching yourself just by watching YouTube videos and doing playing video games or simulators, you can learn a lot. And I, definitely encourage it, but you can also run the risk of learning to do some of the stuff the wrong way.
True.
And then having to relearn that.
That makes it harder.
Yeah.
It's true. You're
Because
right.
you've already
Good
practiced
point.
it. Yeah.
Good point. Okay, that's cool. Good to know.
All righty. So I think, and then this one's pretty interesting. So from the first to the second job, what is your career progression advice, and what are your recommendations of ways to always improve? Lots of people voted for this, saying they wanted to know more about that. And I think in this area, you have some really good advice, right?
Well, for me, definitely, if you always become a line pilot, so you're flying all the time, every day, or as per your roster, your schedule. But I would encourage you to maybe try to get into becoming an instructor, just a ground school instructor to start with. Just get involved in more than just flying the aircraft.
Yeah.
And that will help you a lot for your second, if you go to a second career, well, not a second career, but your second job, if you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you put in always a bit more than just flying the airplane. I want to be in charge of pubs, publicity, publications, updates, and all that stuff. So whatever you put in extra besides being a line pilot will be rewarded down the line in your career, because then it shows up in your resume.
Yeah.
So
That's really good advice. Take on more responsibility.
exactly. It shows initiative, first of all. And
It does show.
was that you?
No, it's not my chair that's squeaking. I
That was your stomach. We do apologize for the noise.
Had some real issues if that was the case.
Yeah, no kidding.
They are doing some maintenance here, and I thought they were on their lunch break now, but I guess not
No
yet.
sweat, no problems.
No, alrighty.
Yeah, do that. That definitely will help. I would definitely encourage. That's why I like someone that says, after flying school, I want to become an instructor.
Yeah.
Just by doing so, just by doing that, for a couple of years, it just opens the door much wider.
Yeah.
When you go for a job interview.
Gives you more opportunities. We actually,
absolutely.
in this instructor class that's going through the program right now, we have several of our alumni that are working for airlines that came back just for that specific reason. Like you said, they want to teach, they want to increase their experience and broaden their horizons and do something in addition to just flying on the line. And obviously, like you said, it's a really smart move for the future.
I think so too. Yeah. And plus, you know what? And as you well know, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than to see someone that you've been, holding hands with, and they just blossom into something incredible.
Yeah.
Which is a full-fledged qualified pilot.
Yeah. To see that growth and be
It's
part
brilliant.
of nourishing
Brilliant.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like a mother.
Yeah.
I know how my mother felt. Exactly. Right
That's
on.
so good. I think that's also a way to improve
Yeah.
teaching others, because when you teach, everybody has a different learning style. Everybody, slight variations of how we process and retain information and knowledge.
Yeah.
And as an instructor, you have to adapt to different learning styles. And you also need to know the material really well, much better than, just to pass a test, because you're supposed to explain it to someone else.
That's right.
So that will be a way to always improve.
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to become a better pilot all around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pilot Talk. Available on iTunes, Spotify, or osmaviation.com/podcast.
All right. The next question we have is how to become a pilot.
This one, I don't think we need to dive into again. I think if you go to episode 4, how do you become a pilot?
Yeah.
That one explains it really well. And we focus on Europe and North America.
Yes.
So maybe you mentioned this during that episode, maybe someone wants to know more about a different area of the world and how it is to become licensed there. So
we'll try to answer that one.
yes. So if you're, interested in Australia, India, China, something like that, just let us know. But Europe and North America is well explained.
It's been covered. Yeah, exactly.
In episode 4, how do you become a pilot?
Right on.
So the next one is how to proceed with flight training after high school. And I think that's pretty much the same question. Go tune into episode 4.
Yep.
How to become a pilot. Then the next one is some advice to become a pilot in the future. And so, these are different questions submitted by different people, but they
always have the same answer.
Yeah.
The
same focus.
That's right. We focus on the same area. I mean, in the future, well, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in the future, but the big thing to remember is that there will be 750,000 pilots required in the next 20 years. So it is a good time to join, to become a pilot. So there will be seats for everybody.
Yeah.
And what else can we say?
Yeah, it's a great profession to get into, and the timing is right.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll do the next one. Well, that was a becoming a pilot sort of category you just went through.
Yeah.
The next one we have one question, if you want, we can take it like that. It's under student pilot. And the question is the mindset of a student pilot, or explain the mindset of a student pilot.
Yeah.
Well, we had the girls that talked about it. The episode is episode number 6, I think, if I remember correctly.
You're absolutely correct, Michelle.
Right. It's coming out next week.
Actually, when this podcast goes live, it's been out.
Oh,
for a
it's been
while.
out.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's hard to. My situational awareness is a bit off there.
Yeah. So by the time that this episode comes out,
It'll be gone.
6 will be there.
Yeah.
And go listen to that, because the student pilots that we had with us had some really good insights on what they do to keep a good mindset, to keep their focus during the studies, and it was really interesting.
It's a very steep learning curve.
Yeah.
You have to remember that if you want to think about the student. You'll need to put a lot of hours of studying, and there's a lot of sacrifice to be made.
Yeah.
But the reward is, just incredible.
It is.
Yeah. So the mindset, listen to the episode, and if there's anything else, then we'll definitely talk about it.
Fill in the blanks. I think we're going to do more of those too.
Yeah.
We'll have more student pilots on.
Oh, I think it's an interesting
These were
subject,
students, and one of our flight instructors, Lexi, and the students we had on the show in episode 6 were attending the school in Arendal in Norway.
Yeah.
So we're also planning on having some students from Västerås in Sweden as our guests.
Perfect.
And also from the U.S. base.
Oh, excellent.
So we got plenty of students to talk to. We'll get more
Lots of
on the mindset of a student pilot.
good stuff.
Okay, so I'll do the next one, and this category is commercial pilot. Some of these questions have the same tones or the same general focus. This one asks, what things or habits can you do to make yourself a better pilot or a better pilot in training? That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah. Habits and things.
I think showing up prepared,
Yeah,
taking the preparation phase seriously, studying all the material beforehand, preparing questions,
right.
always staying on top of the publications, like you said. So the
Exactly.
operations manual,
You got
the
time
standard
off.
operating procedure.
Yeah, if
You
got
have
the
to
time
be,
off.
yeah, you have to be familiar with those things. And like you said earlier, become an instructor, ground instructor, flight instructor, broaden your experience.
Exactly.
That will also, by teaching others, you will become better
Absolutely.
because you need to know the material better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And habit wise, though, I mean, we talk a lot about a pilot needs to be professional. And what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Oh God, it's such a big word.
Yeah,
It's such a big word. Professional means a lot of things. It could be your punctuation, being prepared, knowing
good
what
one.
your punctuation. Yeah.
being on time.
On time. Even just your what you look for, how you look.
Yeah,
Shave, combed.
have a
Your-
professional appearance.
Exactly. You're gonna be wearing a uniform
Yeah,
for 18, 24 months. You want to make sure that uniform looks crisp
yeah.
and be proud
Iron
of it.
your shirt.
Yeah. Be proud of what you represent,
Yeah,
because you represent something incredible, something special.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's
you-
what professional means for me.
yeah. Do you think it's important for a pilot to be humble?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's one of those qualities that we look for,
yeah.
Uh,
Humble, open to learning
yeah.
new things. I think a lifelong learner.
Abs-
That is the mindset of a pilot.
yeah. Keep your eyes open.
Mm.
Yeah. Absorb everything. And, don't be humble.
Yeah,
A lot of pilots sometimes are not humble
Yeah.
enough, and then I don't like that
Yeah.
because that reflects into your professionalism.
yeah. It does. My grandfather always used to say, and I'm sure that more people, this is a common expression, but you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. So listen to those that
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
experience, and like you said, seek information, be humble, try to always learn
Yeah.
from your experiences.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it's, listening is a skill,
It is.
and it's something that we look for as a recruitment specialist or selector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I'll give one example on that. When I did my job interview when I started working for the flight school in California. The chief flight instructor, the assistant chief flight instructor, the CEO, and the director of flight operations were all sitting there interviewing me, and I did a lesson.
Yeah.
So when I was done with my lesson, the assistant chief flight instructor said, "Do you want some feedback?" And I said, "I would love some feedback." At this point, I was a brand new instructor. I mean, I had a few months of experience, but
Yeah.
in comparison to them, I was new, and they gave me some really good feedback. Overall, they thought it was good, but I got some really good pointers, and that helped me get even better.
Right.
So, that kind of illustrates, I think, a good mindset to have, to be humble and to
yeah.
be like a sponge to take in experience.
And you're going to get a lot of directions, a lot of feedback in your career,
Yeah,
and you got to take it, and you have to take it and absorb it and use it and to expand to get better.
yeah,
There's
Right.
nothing wrong getting some negative criticism sometimes, because we're not perfect, and a lot of people say that you have to make a mistake to learn.
yeah. And it's only really a mistake if you don't learn from it.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Good story.
And
Right on.
what about other habits? I mean, staying fit.
Oh, big time.
Yeah,
Big time. You're gonna be flying in odd times during the day. You'll be fatigued, so definitely staying fit. When you smoke a cigarette, it's basically you're at 8,000 feet because of the oxygen and all that. So I'm not promoting smoking, that's for sure.
no,
But yes, fitness is number one.
yeah,
You'll feel better. You'll have more stamina,
yeah,
more endurance, and you'll have a sharper mind if you're fit.
it's good.
Yeah.
Good one.
What else?
Staying hydrated. I mean, I think maybe that's a given. But, you're up
but
there.
still,
It's dry air.
Yeah,
It's important to stay hydrated. It's important to have good nutrition.
true. And you're gonna go through medical every year, every 6 months, depending on your age.
Yeah,
So you're gonna be followed by a professional doctor,
Yeah.
and I would hate to see someone go to the doctor where the doctor says, listen, we'll have to take your medical out because you're obese, you're having some heart problems because you're carrying so much weight, sort of thing. So yeah, fitness is a key. Yeah,
Indeed.
absolutely.
Alrighty.
What else we got there on that list?
Got one that goes, how many hours does a pilot work? Lots of people voted for this. 303 people want to know more about this. And I think this one is very dependent on your type of operation. If you are working for a big commercial airline, around 900 hours a year to be expected.
Yeah, 900 probably would be a max, 950 sort of thing, because there is a maximum that you can fly during a whole year.
Yeah.
There's a max every month. And there's a max that you have also every day, sort of things.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of regulations to control this, to avoid fatigue and so on. But yeah, that's like you said, that's the max. And then in some airlines, if you're flying at a charter airline or a more seasonal airline, it'd probably come with, between 300 and 600 hours a year.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, something like even a cargo pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then if you're a business jet pilot, maybe even fewer.
Even
because for a commercial operation, you fly from A to B, unload passengers, put on new ones, then you fly to C, unload passengers, put on new ones, then back to A, and you just keep going. But if you're a business jet pilot, you pick up your wealthy, prominent passengers and maybe take them to Rome in the morning. They get into the city to have meetings or go shopping or whatever it is that they are there to do.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're just preparing the airplane for the next leg. And you might be there for days or for 8 to 10 hours, and then you fly back. So lots of waiting time in between, not as much time in the air.
As a corporate pilot, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, you're right. I mean, it all depends on the operations. But normally it's between, for commercial passenger flying, we're looking at between maybe 65 to 90 hours a month.
65 to 90 hours a month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good. Now we've talked about the extremes.
Yeah.
Different.
And that's, I'm talking about passenger flying. So if you look at corporate, man, like you said, it could be maybe only 15, maybe hours a month.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Yeah.
Cargo is about maybe less than 60 hours a month, depending on which company you're contacting, flying with. But yeah, it comes up to about, just like you said, your annually 600 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Up to 900. Yeah. It is quite fatiguing, if I can use that word.
Yeah.
Because you could go, you can go easterly and then you have to come back and do another westerly sector, and that goes through time zones, and oh my God, it's just
that part I don't think many people are aware of or considering if you're flying long haul. Because many people look at the long haul segment, they go, oh, that's the biggest planes. It's the most exotic destinations, and it's the highest salaries.
That's right.
All good things, win. But you're also, like you said, you're waking up in the morning in Stockholm, you fly into Los Angeles. It's a 9-hour time difference.
Yeah, and you're going through how many time zones? Holy moly.
Yeah.
A
bunch of them. So, now it's 12 o'clock here, 10 past 12. So around lunchtime. And it's 10 past 3 in California in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So your circadian rhythm and your body is just going, hang on.
What is it? It's supposed to be daytime. It's nighttime. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not as glorified as we think, this long haul stuff.
Yeah. It has its challenges.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the fitness needs to, you need to be really fit. And, and you need to rest as much as you can when you have to rest and all that. So
get good rest.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Alrighty. You want to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll do the next one. The importance of social skills in a work environment. What schools don't teach you? Good question.
That's a really good question.
I would have to think
Did
about
we get
that
stumped?
I think social skills.
I think here, we talk a lot about the core competencies for professional pilots around here.
Yeah.
And it's based on a document that ICAO put out, ICAO document 9er5. And it lists all the different core competencies that a professional pilot's supposed to have. and some of them are self-evident, I think the most. Airplane flight path management manual control, they've chosen to call it. I think the ones that write this document has gotten paid by the word or the letter.
Probably. And
But basically it means manual flying,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you have aircraft flight path management automated control. So those two, most people are like, yeah, pilot needs to be able to fly the plane, program the autopilot. But then you have all these other things: communication,
That's a big
teamwork,
one.
leadership.
That's right.
And in these contexts, and also problem solving and decision making, you have to work as a team and be an excellent communicator. And that's also when social skills is powerful and important.
Yeah, totally
Right.
agree with you.
So you need to have that emotional intelligence. You need to be able to gauge how the crew is feeling and how you communicate things to your co-pilot and to the cabin and to anybody else that you're working with.
Yeah, even the passengers.
Yeah, especially the passengers.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a situations, imagine if you have an emergency situation where you have to divert, meaning you go to a different airport than the destination was originally intended to be. Maybe it's due to a malfunction of the aircraft, right? Then the passengers are going to be nervous. You're going to have to talk to them, explain what has happened, and make sure they're feeling okay.
Yeah.
So then the social skills are very important. But I think one thing that's really interesting is that someone once has said to me, it's like, oh, so are all pilots extroverts? And that is not true.
That's not true.
There are plenty of pilots that are introverts.
Absolutely.
And it just, and for those that don't know, the extrovert typically gets energy from other people, from being around other people, from being in groups, while the introvert recharges energy by spending time with their closest or by themselves.
That's right. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that an introvert cannot act as an extrovert, meaning an introvert can also stand up in front of 200 people and go, hey, everybody, we have diverted to this airport now. It was because of this issue. So that's behavior,
That's right.
right? It's separate from your personality.
Totally agree with you.
You agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you can be an introvert, you can be an extrovert. Extrovert are better communicators if you want, but an introvert also can communicate, and an introvert can also be assertive.
Yeah.
When it has to be. So I don't look at that. When I select a pilot, I look at a pilot. Okay, so he's an introvert. So what?
Yeah.
Okay, big deal. So yeah.
The important part is the competence, the skills.
That's right. That's right. So social skills at school, definitely, you need to be a good communicator.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't worry about if you're an introvert. A lot of people, you're right. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, he's an introvert. Oh, he's quiet. He won't say anything if something happens. But no.
It's not true.
No, it's not true at all. It's a misconception.
Yeah. And I spoke to a head of training at a big Norwegian airline yesterday about this very topic, and he said something very interesting. He said these two types of people work really well with each other because they complement each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So and I think that has to do with, there's a lot of science now coming up on like personality types and how we are as people and what preferences we have and strengths and weaknesses and so on and so forth. But I think one of the most important lessons in all of that information and data is to remember that together we are stronger and we complement each other.
That's right.
And we balance each other.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's also important on the flight trip.
Absolutely. I'm an extrovert, but I've flown with introverts.
Yeah.
And I had no problems at all. And just like you said, I think we were actually a better pair than just two extroverts.
Yeah.
So we worked much better, I think, as you said, A and B, perfect.
Nice.
Instead of A and A sort of thing.
It's really cool to hear that you have that same experience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I got nothing against anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own little personality, or little faults and here and that. But as you work as a team,
we're all human.
All human baby. Absolutely. Right on.
This is another digression, but I was at the Nobel Museum the other day, and because this week there's a Nobel Gala, and they're giving out the Nobel Prize for medicine and physics
literature and all stuff. Yeah.
And we were standing there looking at the prize winners for this year, and the brother of the guy who won the Nobel, one of the guys who won the Nobel Prize in medicine was there. He's like, that's my brother. And then his mom was there as well, the mother of the prize winner. And she was a super sweet American family. And she goes, remember when you see that he receives the prize, I used to change his diapers. and I think that just to build on what you said, we all started out as babies.
Exactly.
We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah, who said that? I remember that. Yeah, you're totally right. Absolutely. All humans.
Yeah.
And we all come the same way.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
All righty. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah. What's the next one you got?
The next one is, as a pilot, do you move and change house a lot, or can you get work where you live?
Good question. Yeah. Normally, when you get your position as a pilot in a company, you'll be posted, if I can say that. You'll be designated a base, and hopefully you will be an airport. You'll be hopefully located around where you want to be located. You know, sometimes you will not get what you want, and sometimes you'll have to bid. Wait a year, get your seniority. Seniority is a big word here, and when you start flying.
So the more years you've spent in the company, the more negotiating power you have over
exactly.
where you are based.
That's right. And if you're not based to where you want to be, or you want to go somewhere where it's nice and warm, sort of thing, if you want a change base, then your seniority will help you get what you want.
Yeah.
But initially, when you start, you take what you get.
Yeah.
You know.
I stress this point a lot to people that want to get into the industry, and I tell them, your first job, be prepared to relocate. Don't expect to get your first job in Sweden if they're Swedish, or in Norway if they're Norwegian. And now it's funny because now we have had a bunch of students that are employed at Arlanda, the airport in Stockholm, and they were like, "Yeah, you were wrong. Look at this. First job, we're in Stockholm. Is exactly where I wanted to be." So obviously, it happens, but that's the exception more than the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you just said, many have gone abroad, worked in London or Edinburgh or Malaga, and then they do that and gain experience, and then they bid to get a Scandinavian base if that's what they want. And some people stay because, like you said, Malaga is pretty nice and warm, and the culture is great, and the food is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people just come to the conclusion that, this isn't too bad.
Some people will stay where they are for their whole career.
Yeah. You fell in love with Spain?
I love Spain.
Yeah.
I love Spain. Actually, I love everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm pretty adaptable. That's another quality of being a good pilot.
Yeah.
Being adaptable.
Adapting to your environment and culture. Yeah.
Absolutely. But be prepared to move if you want to move. Yeah. But, you're not stuck at the same place. Things to remember. And the more time you have in the company, the more power you'll have to maybe go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right.
As a pilot, do you move and change house? Okay, we got that one already. I want to know what's the difference between an international and a pilot that fly only inside his own country or a country. So
I think maybe this question is looking to discover the difference between long-haul pilots and short-haul pilots, or even short-haul pilots and regional pilots.
Yeah, I think that's really more regional than international.
Yeah.
I think.
So regional means usually it's within the country.
That's right. Yeah.
And those are often operated by smaller aircraft.
Yeah.
So that's a difference.
Shorter legs.
Shorter legs, more legs.
More legs.
So intense work days.
Yeah.
But also, I think to a higher degree, you more often come home to home base.
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
That's right. Yeah, you sleep at home.
Yeah. And if you move into the short haul segment, so short haul would be, for example, if you're based in Scandinavia, it would be within Europe.
That's right.
So, flying to Spain and then London, and then maybe spend a night there at a hotel, and then fly to Stavanger in Norway, and then fly to northern Norway and spend a night there at the hotel. And
that's right.
Something like that.
Yeah. There'll be some times where you'll have to overnight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would say that's more common in that segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than the regional segment.
Right. But you look at if you look at Ryanair, you look at
That's true.
EasyJet. They do all that kind of stuff in cross country. I could say use that, but they always come back to where their base is at their hub.
And I've heard that many of their pilots really enjoy that.
Yeah.
So it's a way for them to retain their pilots because the pilots are not expected to stay in different countries, different cities at hotels that much. They can come home to their families.
That's right. If you have a if you're married, you have family, definitely you will enjoy being home at night every evening.
Yeah.
But as a new pilot, I like when I started flying, we did I used to do like 4, 5, 6 sectors a day. So that's 6, 8 takeoff landings sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you learn a lot when you do a regional and short haul flying, which is it's a great way of logging many hours within a year, and you get better at it.
Progressing quickly
exactly
because you fly more and
that's right. So if you do a long haul, you just do maybe 1 or 2 landings a month.
That's true.
So it depends which one you do. If you're a single guy and you like to travel and all that, and you like to be overnight anywhere else, then you try to get the
young
job.
and adventurous men and women will love the traveling and staying abroad. But then as you progress into a family situation, if that's something you want,
that's right,
then things change.
Yeah, exactly.
Life has many beautiful periods, and they all have their own priorities.
You're being poetic now. What's going on?
Am I being poetic?
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll put that on my resume now. Pilot and poet.
But you're right. You're totally right. I mean, it all depends of your current situation, family life, and all that. Yeah. So that's the difference between regional, short, and long haul, I guess.
Yeah, the main differences.
Yeah, exactly.
Good questions. I love that they've submitted so many questions. This is amazing. It's so cool to see that they're engaging with us. In this
love it. I just love it.
Okay, so next category is career advice and opportunities.
Okay.
And this first one says, advice on making career moves as a commercial pilot, young or older. And I think we touched on this a little bit.
I think we just did talk about it a little bit.
And we, broaden your experience, take on responsibility, become invaluable.
Yeah.
Become a person that can solve more problems than just flying airplanes from A to B.
That's right.
And it will be easier to have more opportunities.
That's right. In your
a
career.
good way to summarize what you said earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then the next one is how to get a job at a good aviation company.
Well, what's the definition of a good aviation company?
I guess that's
I don't know.
That's somewhat subjective, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
People have different goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
Apply. Do a good job wherever you are, even if you don't end up in your dream job from the beginning. Just do a good job. Reputation is everything.
Yeah.
Do your best. Strive to learn.
Yeah. I mean, there's no magic bullet out there. You got to do your best. You got to keep your nose clean, and you will, by being thorough with your profession and have good ethics, and you will get what you want eventually.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Hear, hear.
Hear.
Hear, hear. Let's move on to the next. Can you have a job after you finish the academy? And I must presume that they're talking about OSM Aviation Academy. Our academy.
Sure.
I would say absolutely yes. In 2015, 2016, 2017, 100% of the students were employed within a year. And the graduates from 2018 and 2019, we still have a few that are looking for jobs. We have some that are going for interviews these days as we speak. So they're exploring opportunities. And I think, by that mark that we have, we measure it from when they graduate until 1 year after graduation.
Right.
Anybody that will want a job and put in the work will have one. And we support them in that. We have something called career support. And that means that they can come back and every time they get an interview at an airline, they can contact the school and come back and do a brush up lesson in the simulator in preparation for the interview, which is really good.
Incredible. I think we're the only. I think OSM Academy is the only one that actually offers that. That's
Yeah, we don't
service.
we don't stop supporting until they have reached their dream
till the end.
of getting that first seat, that first job.
Yeah. Well, I think that what you're saying actually is that whoever comes to OSM Academy has a better chance of getting a job at the end than anybody else.
Yeah, because that's what we strive to do. We educate airline-ready pilots.
Yeah.
And the boys and girls, men and women that go through here, our goal is for them to have all the tools and all the competencies and the skills and the attitude to succeed in their flying career.
And I tell you, I'm part of the mentorship program with OSM, and the students are super happy. They are ecstatic to be with us. It's incredible. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah,
incredible people.
Sometimes they're annoyed with us.
Oh yeah, sometimes. But
I'll tell you that,
like everybody
and that's
else.
fine. We have a 20-month-long relationship with them.
Exactly.
And I get the pleasure of listening to them ventilate every now and then. So I think it's important to say that. But you're right. All in all, I think that they're very happy with the education. They see that we really care about them.
Yeah, the caliber of instructors, the equipment that we use, and all that. It's just incredible.
Yeah. And I think I love that too, by the way. That's the fact that there is the atmosphere here that they can voice frustrations and concerns. We have a student council with representatives from every class that's they meet, they talk about everything that's going on, and they could give us, it's a direct line communication into us. And to us, it's really important.
Oh, you need that feedback.
Because in any long relationship, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be things to iron out, and it's all about communication.
Yeah.
It's all about having a good dialogue.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
And then we move on to the next one, which is a really good question. And we actually did a whole episode on this. And it asks what Michelle and other recruiters look for in interviews and screenings. And
we went through the whole
I picked your brain on this one.
Yeah.
We went through the whole thing. And that one is going to be published as episode number 7 or 8. I actually don't
It's
know.
coming.
But by the time this episode's been released,
Yeah.
we will have done a episode that's called something along the lines of how to prepare for an airline interview and what to think about. And that episode is just full with good advice
So
to
stay
prepare.
tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check that episode out.
Perfect. The next one I've got is foreign students' problems in flying schools.
I looked through these questions, and I don't know how you feel, but I feel like these questions will be really good to ask and discuss when we have foreign students with us. So thank you guys for submitting those questions. What are the challenges for foreign students when they go abroad to study? This is a really good one, and we'll do an episode on it, and we'll bring on
Specifically, yes.
some of our foreign students to get it firsthand from them.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. And someone's asked us, how do you become an instructor via your sponsorship plan? It's really interesting.
Good question.
We have had this year, in May, we had a sponsored flight instructor course sponsored by OSM Aviation Academy. And you can apply, you send in your resume, motivational letter, and you go through a process. And those who are invited will come to the school, do a presentation of a subject that they are given beforehand. So teach a subject or teach a lesson.
Yeah.
And then also teach a lesson in the aircraft.
Yeah.
So in the classroom and in the aircraft. And
Theory and practical.
Theory and practical.
Yeah.
And then we will select a set number that are given a flight instructor course by us.
Yeah. So it's important to know that, there will be a selection process, even though you are a pilot.
Yeah.
Even though, so there is a selection process to become an instructor. So it's not a gimme. It's not a freebie. You'll still have to go through that hoop.
Yeah. And we have a vested interest in it as well, because obviously we need qualified instructors to give our students the best education.
Exactly.
And for those that go through the sponsored program, we're going to do one more next year. So I'm not sure exactly the date of when this episode is going to come out, but in April, May of 2020, there will be information about this on the website already now. If you go to osmaviationacademy.com and go under modular courses, and you'll find sponsored flight instructor course, and you can subscribe to updates.
Okay.
And the amazing people we have in the marketing team will send out relevant information when it's released. So it's a great way to become an instructor. When you've qualified and you've gone through the program, there is a bond of 2 years. So since we sponsor the course,
Right.
you're expected to stay with us for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, to give back value and to teach students.
Absolutely. You're investing into them. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I definitely know we're going to do one of these in 2020, and then we'll see in the years to come. But since
it's a great program.
It's a great program, and instructors, flight instructors, theory instructors are in high demand. So
Big
it's
time.
it's a great career.
Beautiful.
Pilot Talk. Everything you need to know about being a pilot.
Alrighty, and that goes to all the main categories are done now. Then we have one category that's been called Other.
Other, that's right. Yes.
That one is that's interesting.
This is a funny one.
It's a funny one, and I think so. What about the stripes? We got one that asks about the stripes. What do you need to get your first, second, third, and fourth stripe?
You need hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's experience.
That's all it is.
Right.
That's all it is. Experience and keeping your nose clean.
Yeah, and by keeping your nose clean, what do you mean?
Oh, don't break any rules. Don't break an airplane.
Yeah, so stick to the
Yeah,
rules.
stick to the rules. You got standard operating procedures,
Yeah.
SOPs, what they call.
Show up prepared. Show up on time.
Yeah, exactly. I
And
mean,
then-
and volunteer if they're looking for some extra work. Just
Take initiative.
volunteer. Yeah,
That's
man.
good.
Absolutely.
Take initiative. That's rewarded.
Huge.
And so I think the most common way of structuring it is a new first officer has one stripe.
Yeah.
And then a senior first officer has two stripes.
Is that in the academy?
Oh, no, now I'm talking about airlines.
Well, the junior first officer has 2 stripes. The
Okay.
senior first officer has 3 stripes, and
Then
the big guy,
The captain.
the captain, has 4 stripes.
Gotcha.
And if you're a type-rated examiner or type-rated instructor, you will have a little star
Ooh.
next to your epaulettes, and
Gotcha.
next to your 4 stripes. That shows that you are basically a certified trainer or instructor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
here in the academy, you have
Yeah, we have stripes as well.
As well,
Yeah, we
yeah,
have uniforms. It's structured slightly different, but along the same principle. So when you're an instrument rated student,
Okay.
you get just black epaulets without any stripes on.
okay.
And then when you are an instructor, you get one stripe.
Okay,
And when you are a instrument rated instructor,
you get 2
you
stripes.
get 2 stripes. Means you can teach instrument training.
Well, you have 6 stripes. So what is that?
And then if you're in the executive committee, you get
You get
6.
6 stripes.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm joking. But then 3 stripes is for a multi-engine, so class rating instructor.
Okay, all right.
And 4 stripes, that's when you're the
Chief
head
pilot,
honcho,
okay.
chief flight instructor, chief theoretical instructor, head of training.
Now these, for me, that's I'm going to tell you honestly, Stein. For me, it was just I didn't know about the stripe system in the academy.
Mm.
Is that a standard? Stripe policy in all academies, or is that
In
just
all
for,
of ours, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know, other academies
others,
might
okay.
have different ways of doing it.
like in the cockpit? That's the standard one, the way I said it.
Gotcha.
But throughout the world,
Gotcha. And then for the students, they also, when they become commercial pilots, they get the wing on their chest.
all right, that's right. Yeah.
So that's a symbol of,
Tattooed or just the pin type?
no, just the pin.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do like the Marines and we, punch it into their
Oh,
chest.
their chest. Yeah,
No,
that's
we
what
don't.
happened to me.
Yeah, no, but it's more hardcore in the military. That's when
I'm
they do
sure.
stuff like that. But we
on.
we have a ceremony, we put it on. We don't, we
Speaking
don't
of ceremony,
tattoo
you
them.
do have a solo ceremony, don't you?
We do have, it's solo ritual.
Ritual, that's
So the
right.
students will throw a bucket of water at the pilot when she or he comes back from their first solo flight. I don't know what they do now during wintertime because that would be a recipe to get a cold. Sometimes, yeah, they cut the tie.
Yeah.
I know that some classes have done they shave their head.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah.
So, you know, and when I was working in San Diego in California, they had this ritual where after the first solo, the classmates would carry the person from the aircraft so their feet wouldn't touch the ground, put them in the trunk of their car, take them to the student housing, and then cut their tie and throw them in the pool.
Well, that's a good one. I like that
So the
one.
students get creative with these things.
All right, right.
And I think it's important just to have a ceremony to because we've said it before, it's a huge milestone in any pilot's
is.
career.
It is.
And it should be celebrated.
That's right. In the military, we had this bathtub on wheels. So we would fill up with ice water, and then we would wait for the guy to come in, and then we would pick him up and just dunk him in the cold water. That's what happened to me.
Sounds refreshing.
It's great when it's minus 15
Yeah,
outside.
yeah. People love doing that here in Scandinavia, the ice
sure.
bathing.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
right.
supposed to be good for you.
The Polar Bear Club.
Yeah. And when you go in, it's just like, you know, you got to catch your breath.
The blue lips.
The blue lips.
The blue
I have
lips,
a
yeah.
picture of myself when I was in the army, and I was dragging myself out of this ice. They cut a hole in the ice, like
Exactly.
a meter thick
Oh,
ice.
no way.
And you had to go in with your skis and your backpack and get it off in the water, and then you used your ski poles to pull yourself up. And
Oh,
someone took a
God.
picture of me when I was, you know, I've never seen my lips so blue. I
Oh, my
was
God.
so
How old
cold.
were you?
18, 19,
Oh, God.
something like that.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Sorry.
It was
Bit of a wimp.
It's a cool experience. Cold for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So let's see. What else do we
Others.
have on the other category? So CRM.
Ooh,
Ooh, that stands for
crew resource management.
and
It
it's
used to stand cockpit resource management.
oh, that's true.
And
Yeah,
now it's crew resource management.
because it encompasses all the crew.
Yeah, we're going to have an episode on that.
Yeah, it's such a big subject.
Oh,
We can't
huge.
just talk about it for a few minutes. But in short summary, we can say that the crew resource management is the science of how to optimize cooperation between the cockpit and the cabin and everybody that's involved in the safe execution of a flight.
Beautiful.
And, thank
That's
you.
well
See, I
said.
got poetic again.
That exactly, but
or-
it's what
or
you just
factual, I
said
don't
was you're talking about harmony.
Yeah.
But
Good.
I love the way you said it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
And-
have a full episode on that, or maybe even two.
Oh, yeah. This is a subject we could do many episodes on. I agree with
Yeah,
that. And I
absolutely.
look forward to those.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Last but not least,
Last but not least, let's do the one that says pilot's motivation to us. I think what they're looking for here is, you know, give me a boost. Why should I become a pilot?
why would you?
Why would you? Well, it's amazing. It's so much fun. There's so many great people in this industry, and you get to fly planes.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if it's only me, but that in itself,
It's
the
huge.
amazing feeling of just giving full power, accelerating down the runway, pulling back on the stick or the yoke or whatever your aircraft has, and just feeling that you leave the ground
Yeah,
and soar
Free.
the skies.
yeah, exactly.
It's the most beautiful thing.
There's no better feeling.
It
No
is-
better feeling.
No better feeling. Still to this day.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Could be a glider, it could be a private plane, it could be a 747, it could be anything. Even as a passenger, I mean, it just
Yeah, I still like the takeoff.
Me too.
Even
Me
if I'm
too.
just sitting in the back.
I like the bumps. I like everything. It's
Yeah.
you know, if you've never tried it, and you want to become a pilot, I would highly suggest that you go out there, take an hour
Yeah.
on a little airplane with an instructor, and just go out there and beat the sky.
Yeah. And come to one of our pilot open days.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go to osmaviationacademy.com/events.
yeah,
We got plenty of these days. And if you come to one of them at one of our schools, you could do an intro lesson in one of our aircraft or in the simulator. And it's a great experience.
Yeah.
So don't take our word for it. Try it out for yourself.
exactly.
And
You won't regret it.
you won't regret it.
No.
And you will probably get hooked. And if you don't, well,
What the heck?
maybe it's not for you. But
Well, that's right.
But
That's pretty rare, though,
if you
isn't it?
just go, oh my God, that was amazing. Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah,
But there are those. But most people come back, and I love being at these events because, you know, standing on the tarmac to see when they come back from their first flying experience.
big smile.
The big smile. It's just a huge
yeah,
smile.
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, that was it.
That was a
That's
really
the list.
fun episode. And I just want to say thank you to all of you guys and girls that have sent in these great questions.
Absolutely.
We really enjoyed going through them, and hopefully we gave some good answers. We hope you're happy with it, and we are very thankful for all of your questions, and keep sending them in,
Yes,
because
please.
I think on regular intervals we'll do these episodes where we just go through all the feedback and all the questions that have come in from you guys.
We want to make sure that we have satisfied listeners.
Indeed.
Right on.
And on that note, to wrap things up, remember that you can find this podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, or just by going to osmaviation.com/podcast. And leave us your feedback in the form at the bottom of the page if you want to tell us something, or go to our Instagram page, the Pilot Talk Podcast, and send us a DM, direct message. We love interacting with you guys.
Absolutely.
Comment, like, send us messages. Let's keep this show rolling. And to round things off, my friend,
Blue sky.
and happy landings.
See ya.